A warm welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update, today Wednesday, May 27th. A male police officer was shot and injured while on duty at Henley St. John today. According to Sergeant Michael Blackman, around 11:45 a.m., officers were working in the area of Henley Plantation when they challenged an individual who opened fire. As a result, the officer was injured. He was taken to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Police said the culprit has a light complexion and is short and stocky. He was wearing a green and white t-shirt and short green pants. Police are appealing to anyone with information that can assist investigations to contact the District C Police Station at 416-8200, Police Emergency at 211, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477 or any police station. Scores of Barbadians are now back home thanks to government decision to allow some cruise ships to use the Bridgetown port for repatriation. Chairman of the Barbados Port Inc., Senator Lisa Cummins, told Barbados Today that in exchange for allowing those ships to dock on the island, the chartered planes coming to take the crew home are also bringing Barbadians home.
Some Barbadians, including Barbadian crew members and Barbadians who are stranded abroad, being able to come home. These ships are the reason that these Barbadians are able to come home, because the cruise lines are flying the planes in. They're going to be flying them in empty. If they're flying them in empty and they're Barbadians in, say, the UK or wherever they're in Canada, as you would have seen happen last week, these Barbadians have an opportunity now to work with our overseas embassies, as you've seen happening as well, and they're able to get home, and then they go into quarantine here in Barbados because they're staying on the island. But because these ships are repatriating through Barbados, the planes that are taking them home are also bringing our Barbadians home.
Harmony of the Seas, the world's longest cruise ship and the second largest, docked at the port today, carrying over 4,000 crew members. Senator Cummins says some of the crew have been on the water for close to 2 months. She explained that they will be transported to the Grantley Adams International Airport, where chartered flights are waiting to take them home.
The cruise lines have had a number of challenges with various ports around the world not allowing these ships to disembark and to allow for the charter planes to come in, even though there are protocols in place, or alternately, even though you have crew members that are all healthy. In the case of this particular vessel, these are crew members who have been at sea for the most part, in some instances over 60 days. And the quarantine period, is 14 days in period. These people have been stranded at sea for close to 2 months. And so they just want to get home. And what Royal Caribbean has done is they have consolidated their crew members across multiple ships, placed them on single ships and sailed them to different ports. Barbados is not the only one, but we are the one in this area. And there are chartered flights that are flying in, and the crew members are going directly from the seaport to the airport to board those charter flights and fly out to their home countries, to their families.
Two prominent Barbadians passed away today. Renowned educator, former senator and Privy Councillor Dame Olga Patricia Pat Simmons died at age 94. Prime Minister Mia Mottley said the iconic principal of the St. Michael's School was a lady of great poise, impeccable manners, and a great master of the English language. Mottley also praised Dame Patricia for her contribution to the Barbados Labour Party and to the country, noting that she left Barbados better than she found it. Former businessman and sports administrator Ralph Bruggadung Johnson also passed away today at the age of 80. Johnson was the founder of Harris Paints and a long-standing official of several sports bodies, including the first vice president of the Barbados Olympic Association. Prime Minister Mia Mottley described him as a true Bajan whose creativity, leadership and hard work benefited the country. Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Investment, Marcia Caddo, believes that more must be done to utilize the Barbados and Caribbean brand when it comes to promoting and selling local and regional commodities across the world. She made this point during a live YouTube discussion on the topic, The Future of the Caribbean, Sustainable Supply Chains, Trade and Agriculture, hosted by the Grow Local Caribbean team.
What are the uniquely Bajan things? So black belly sheep is one of those things. And it is sought after all over the world. There are people, there are chefs in different restaurants who say, if we have that lamb, we don't want anything else. The same for our avocado, the same for our aloe. And so we're really trying to focus on that and do a better job with branding. We can globalize even the production, but we need to really brand who we are, what we're selling, You know, I mean, this issue came up even recently with the clash between Bounty and BD. You know, why is it that people are selling back to us our Caribbean products? You know, we hear all these jingles in advertising, and you have a soca rhythm in the back, you have a calypso rhythm, you have a reggae rhythm, because our brand is happiness. The Caribbean brand is happiness. And we're not doing anything with that. We're not doing anything with our music to brand that happiness in soca and reggae music. So I think that as an overall conversation, that's a huge part of what we need to do, and that's what this government is working on.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back to Regional News now. In Jamaica, days before students are expected to return to the classroom, educators are still anxious about the June 8 return to school plans. More in this report from Television Jamaica.
Messages indicating the state of mind of some teachers. I am so scared about returning to school on June 8, 2020. I am depressed and can't help but to sit and cry. Another read, we want the best for our students, but this is just early days to send us out. Those messages follow the announcement by Education Minister Carl Samuda that students will be required to sit CSEC and CAPE exams in July. But JTA President Owen Speed says more questions linger.
We want to know if our teachers will be provided with additional safety equipment. How many masks will the Ministry of Education procure? It's not only the teachers who are uncomfortable with this situation. We have parents who are adamant that they are not going to be sending their children out at this time. We have the children who are uncomfortable with it.
Mr. Speed says the decision by the government is having a debilitating effect on teachers, leading them to anxiety attacks.
These are some questions that are real, and the circumstances that the teachers are in. Many of them are in different kinds of circumstances, with daycare centers closed. And the government of Jamaica knows that. I don't know if that point should have to be raised at any meeting for a Minister of Education to understand that if daycare centers are closed and teachers are being called out to come back to duty, they cannot carry them with them to school.
But speaking yesterday during a press briefing, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said consideration could be given for the reopening of daycares in line with the expiration of the work-from-home orders on May 31.
The orders still remain as it relates to schools, and that would also incorporate daycares. We will have to have a special consideration, and I believe that those issues would be considered or being considered now under the protocols for the return to work.
On the international front, the novel coronavirus has killed more than 100,000 people in the United States, according to a Reuters tally issued today. Americans say the last few months have been sobering. More in this report from Reuters Television.
But for the first responders, health workers, the victims' friends and families, and even those who've witnessed the devastation from their apartment windows, Wednesday's grim milestone is more than just a number.
We stopped counting how many bodies came out.
Alex Monteleone's Brooklyn apartment in the U.S. epicenter of New York overlooks a medical center's parking lot that at the height of the crisis was full of refrigerated trucks that housed the dead.
We see it and we're like, this is very serious. This is very real. And, we're seeing so much chaos manifest outside of our home that we can't imagine how bad it is inside.
Tiffany Fair, a nurse at a Maryland hospital, has seen what goes on inside.
One of the hardest moments was having to see a family member of a COVID patient say goodbye over an iPad rooms away.
I don't know if any of us will ever be the same after this.
Anthony Almohera is a New York Fire Department paramedic.
There's going to be a lot of trauma from this for the medics and EMTs who have seen this all, unfold, firsthand.
18-year-old student Manoli Aya lost her mother, a physician's assistant who had treated COVID-19 patients, and became a patient herself.
And she's like, I promise I'll come home and I love you. And that was the last time I ever talked to her. Even a few days after her passing, I kept texting her, wanting to believe that it wasn't true that she had passed away.
Elderly individuals and people with underlying health conditions have been the most vulnerable, and almost 1/3 of the reported U.S. deaths were linked to nursing homes and long-term care facilities.
This was at my wedding.
Robert Holmberg lost his 77-year-old father, one of more than a dozen residents at this assisted living center who died from the virus.
I think about it every night. I think about, me telling him, I'm going to get him out of there, and not being able to do it in time.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.